The Galaxy Z Fold 7 has taken Samsung from 3-0 down in injury time to 4-3 up at the final whistle. This is now the best foldable on the planet, no questions asked. But that doesn't mean it's perfect. Here is our full review of the Galaxy Z Fold 7. Welcome back to SamMobile TV. You're here with Daniel. The Z Fold 7 has been with us for about 2 weeks now. The thing about reviewing a foldable is that this device hasn't really changed what a foldable is and the purpose of a foldable. It's just elevated every area of it. You've still got the phone on the front, and then you still open it up and you get the tablet in the middle. That hasn't changed. It's the enhancements that are made to this form factor that infinitely increase the overall experience. It's now better as a phone, thanks to this wider cover screen, and it's also now better as a tablet, even without S Pen support. The biggest compliment I think I can pay to the Z Fold 7 is often I forget that I'm holding a foldable phone. When I'm using it on the cover display, I honestly forget that sometimes this is a foldable. Because of how light and because of how thin it is, in the hand, you genuinely do not feel like you're holding a folding phone. You just don't. Whilst the cover display contributes to that a lot, I would say the biggest contributing factor is definitely the weight. Bringing it down to 215 grams means that it's lighter than a slab phone, the S25 Ultra, which is 218 grams. This being lighter than that, you genuinely forget that this is a folding phone that you're holding. And a lot of people have said that they liked the narrower form factor of the Z Fold 6, myself being one of them, but because it was thicker, it meant that it still occupied hand real estate. This being 8.9 millimeters in thickness means that it's occupying less hand real estate this way, and it will make it easier to reach across for one-handed usage when you've got it closed. That reduced thickness contributes to that. You will definitely want to use the cover display in your hands and not rest it on a flat surface, because this thing rocks. And not in a good way. But even when you are holding it and you forget initially that it's a foldable, you know that there is an inner display in here that you can unfold to that immediately opens up your world to other things. Multitasking, content consumption, all of it is better thanks to this new sort of design Samsung have brought. And then, of course, you've got the hardware advantage of taking advantage of flex mode, the fact that the hinge can hold up in this different environment. I will say the hinge is definitely quite sturdy. There is one point, though, about here, where it doesn't want to sit perfectly at 90 degrees. It has a bit of a pushback. But outside of that, every other point that you want it to go to, it's strong enough to hold itself. The two halves of the display, now that the front display is more like a normal phone, those two halves on the inside are also more like a normal phone, meaning that when you have two apps open side by side, again, you're going to get that more natural, more conventional smartphone app experience when you have two apps open next to each other. Watching content has been interesting. I would say the strength of the foldables, especially Samsung's in the past few years, has been that uninterrupted display, plus the enhanced speaker experience from proper stereo speakers. I would say the speakers here outperform themselves considering the thin form factor of the speaker chamber, but when you compare it to maybe the Fold 6 or even the S25 Ultra, I would say that it's not as far ahead or even maybe the same or a little bit less than what those two phones were.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rosina. Happy birthday to you. Hip hip. One UI 8 is finally here, and it is perfect on the Z Fold 7. Let's go. I've had One UI 8 on my S24 Ultra. One UI 8 is finally here, and it is perfect on the Z Fold 7. Let's go. I've had One UI 8 on my S24 Ultra.
Overall, the design here, I think, is more ready for the masses than what foldables have been from the past. Because of the fact you have that more traditional smartphone-like experience on the front, it means that more people can get used to using this quicker versus needing to adjust to that narrow form factor. Everything on here now, typing, looking at apps, it feels like a normal smartphone now. Cameras are next. If you watched our Fold Special Edition videos from last year, you'll pretty much know what to expect because these are the exact same cameras as what we had over there. A 12 megapixel ultra wide that now has macro capability thanks to dual pixel autofocus. A 200 megapixel main camera, which is the same as what's on the S25 Ultra, Enhanced over the special edition. The special edition had an aperture of f1.8. Here you've got f1.7, so better in low light. But then you still have the same 3x telephoto that Samsung have been clinging onto for the last few years. Weakest of the bunch, absolutely, but these two, sensational. As you'll see from the samples that I'm putting up now, this main camera especially takes some cracking photos. You have confidence now with a foldable phone that you can go out and snap a really high quality, sharp, and natural photo. Because you've got the larger sensor, it can also get some more natural bokeh. Having the ultra wide with macro, again, opens up those content opportunities to get in really close to things. Like, especially if you're a food photographer, you can really get in on the detail of food, and that just allows for it really nicely. But for me, I've never really been an output fiend when it comes to foldables, because that is not the story with a foldable phone. It's not about what these cameras produce from an output level, because let's face it, it's a flagship smartphone in 2025 with a flagship chip, the 8 Elite for Galaxy. You're going to get good results, as you would on any other smartphone in this price bracket with this hardware. It's about what the foldable form factor allows you to capture that's different from a normal phone. Rear cam selfie. If you wanted to just snap a high quality selfie using these rear cameras, you can do that with the Z Fold 7 and do it better thanks to the better hardware on the back now. Flex mode. If you wanted to set this down on a flat surface and capture a nice family moment that you can then be involved in yourself, you can do that with the Z Fold 7. Cover screen preview. If you've got kids or you want someone to be able to see themselves as you're framing up their photo, turn on the cover screen whilst the phone is open and have them see themselves and then snap the photo for them to look at. That's available on the Z Fold 7. So whilst here you might have a weaker telephoto compared to like an S25 Ultra, this will do things that the S25 Ultra will never be able to do. And that's this advantage of going here as opposed to over there. When you're out and about, you've got a tripod, you've got a preview for your kids, you've got a vlogging camera for yourself. All of it's in this package. Videos too are now way more enhanced on here. You've always had good video modes on Samsung, but I feel like the output has steadily been getting better. 8K 30, you've now got log video on here, and you want to combine them two together, you've got incredible detail that you can control yourself in editing. When you open this thing up, the under display camera is gone. Samsung opting to put in here a better quality 10 megapixel selfie camera as opposed to the 4 megapixel one from the Fold 6 and the ones before that. And what else this has done is give it a 100-degree field of view. So it now goes a lot wider than what the other ones used to. And because you've got this better camera, it's going to take clearer photos, and it's also going to be able to do 4K video recording. So if you wanted to use flex mode with that wider field of view, you've got the opportunity to do that here with the Z Fold 7. So this is a video quality output from the inner selfie camera on the Fold 7. It is nice, 4K 30, and the wider field of view means you can sort of fit more in. Again, previous Folds wouldn't have been able to do this. I have taken a ton of videos with this thing, whether we go to Paradise Country, where there's lots of farm animals for my daughter's birthday, or whether it's just life in general. It's captured some really nice stuff. The new hardware, plus the performance of the software and the form factor really do come together to give you a camera experience that you will not find on a slab phone ever. And that's why I love it. Now, as far as the software and the sort of overall performance goes, there's a few things I really want to talk about. Firstly, I love Samsung software, especially their foldable software. They've had enough goes at it now that they know what works and they know the right things to put in here to really make the experience complete. A lot of what I love about the software on here, I actually put into a video earlier this week. Things like Flex Mode panel, where you have the option to turn two halves of the display open and have one for control and one for content. That's awesome. Multi-window taskbar, cover screen continuity, where you open the phone up with an app and then go back the other way as well. It's great. There are things though that Samsung have added with One UI 8, which again, complete the picture. I've actually really enjoyed the photo assist that Samsung have added with here, where you can have side-by-side sort of editing. So if I like take this photo of my daughter at the shops and I want to remove things from the background, the photo assist has always been great. Let's say this guy here, he's got to go. When you remove it, after what happens is it's actually going to split the display in two, and you can see the previous version and the new version on the other side. and have them in big sort of viewfinders next to each other. So once it's done, you hit show original. And then what's great is when you zoom in on one, it zooms into the other and you could sort of see what's going on. Doesn't that look amazing how it's just filled that in like he was never there and removed the distraction? Awesome. There's some extra Galaxy AI stuff too. Like there's some new modes in Drawing Assist here where you have extra stuff and extra styles that you can create stuff in. That's part of the new experience as well. They're nice touches, but they don't define what a foldable is. They just sort of add to it. With Dex on here and One UI 8, this makes a lot more sense now because of the fact you've got that bigger inner display. When you have Dex set up and you can send and flow the mouse between the two devices and send apps back and forth between the two displays. Again, just makes a lot of sense. The no S Pen support, it's a huge miss. Not because you use it all the time. It's just nice to know it was there as an option. I get why it's gone. We've done a whole video actually discussing why Samsung removed it to make this form factor happen, but it still doesn't feel nice that it's gone or that they got rid of it. And you will miss it if you're an avid S Pen user. The Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy, it's a known commodity now. Seeing as how it was on the S25 Ultra, we kind of know the performance we're going to get. And even in comparisons to that phone, it performs the same in a lot of the same tasks. So I've got no issues there. The one issue I think a lot of people might stumble to get over is battery capacity. Now, battery life, capacity. 4,400 milliamp hours could be a stumbling block for a lot of people that they just won't be able to get over. I get it. On paper, it just looks like a small number and it hasn't increased or decreased since the Fold 3, I think it was. It's okay battery life. It's not stellar and amazing, but it's also not terrible. You will get through a day. You will get to 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night with battery left in the tank, and you will be able to comfortably get through that without having to worry, especially if you use your phone normally. If you are someone who plugs your phone in to charge when you get in the car, or if you sit at a desk like me, my desk is just over there, you will be fine because you will have charging opportunities throughout the day and you won't even think about it. You'll just be like, oh yeah, it's resting on a wireless charger or it's in the car charging with Android Auto. That's the sort of thing that people will do with their phone. And this will absolutely account for that because I haven't done any of that. I've just been using it without all of that to see how the battery goes. And like I said, it's been fine. I do think Samsung's decision not to use the early builds of silicon carbon batteries might pay off in the long run. When you're talking about 7 years of software support and you've built this hardware to last, sort of match that, you want to make sure the battery longevity sort of goes along with it. And I just don't know if there's enough evidence yet to support the efficacy of silicon carbon batteries to last that long period of time. If you're after the sugar hit of long battery life for 6 months and then you move to a new phone, then I guess it makes sense. But if you are holding onto your phone for 3 years or longer, even 2 years or longer, then I think it's okay to stick with what's been in here because you know it will work and you know it will last. The bottom line, really, is that Samsung have got the best and thinnest foldable in the market right now. We know that. You might not think it's the best hardware when it comes to cameras, like this camera here is not great. Removing S Pen support might also be taken into your consideration. But when you look at the overall picture, the software Samsung have built around the hardware, and the fact that they now have brought their hardware game up to this level, I don't think you can really argue with that statement that this is the Fold or the only Fold worth getting. I stand by that. If you have always wanted to get a foldable and you're worried about durability, remember 500,000 folds and unfolds now thanks to that improved durability on the inner display. If you're worried about it being too heavy, it's 215 grams. It's lighter than Samsung's other flagship, the S25 Ultra. Thought it was too thick. 8.9 millimeters now. Again, bringing it in line with the flagship smartphone, that's a slab, but it unfolds. Or you thought the cameras weren't good enough. You've now got the main camera from the S25 Ultra with processing to match, which gives it excellent performance. Then now is the time for you to jump in. Now is the time for you to look at this and go, you know what? I'm ready. And the folds are ready. Let's go at it together. Hit subscribe to SamMobile TV. We've got all the other reviews of all the other products still to come. We just got our Flip and we've got our Watch 8 Classic coming today as well. So lots to look forward to. Go visit us on our website, all on our socials, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.